Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pyros Projects. Today I'm going to get back into working on that evaporator some more. I'm going to get the, what do you call it? The outside edges that we were discussing last weekend. I'm going to get that welded to the body of the evaporator and come up with some way to do the cross straps to help support the pan. And I think then I'm going to get started on cutting the hole and installing the fire door. So we'll see how far we get today. It's only limited time. See what happens. So hopefully enjoy the show, and we'll get you caught up in just a little while. All right, everybody. I've got the side rails all tacked to the body. Did about 1-inch stitch welds all the way down the ends, or down the sides and across the front end here. And I've got this back plate put in since there was nothing back here to support the very rear end of the pan. This will give it something to sit on. Now the pan is 48 inches long, so it's going to go from this corner all the way to here. But unfortunately, it's just going to be sitting on this white line on each side. So it's going to be a little bit narrow. I'm still thinking through whether or not I want to add a strap in the middle, because the manufacturer of the pan actually says to leave that bottom of the pan completely wide open. Otherwise, it'll get a cool spots. So I started beading in all of this to the heat riser. But unfortunately, my welder just ran out of wire. So now I got to stop and reload that so I can carry on. But thought I'd get you caught up here, show you where I'm at. And then here in a moment, once I get this thing on reel changed out and get back to putting stuff together, I'll catch you up in a little while again. Okay. I got this plate cut down. When I went to actually start cutting it, I flipped it over to make sure I was going to clear everything. I realized that this actually was a dual layer plate. So I had to go around and I cut all of the spot welds around it to remove this plate, like so. I also realized that the latch mechanism stuck out further than where I originally wanted to cut this front plate for the door. If I had cut it where I originally wanted it, this latch would be gone. So I had to make it a little bit longer to compensate for that latch. Now what I did is I took this plate, measured out the center of the front of the box here, and you can see the yellow marking. That's actually the inside hole for the fire door, which is the same on the big plate that the door mounts to, as well as this inner plate. And then this box right here, I cut it out to allow the latch ramp to go in so that the door will close and latch tight. I was originally thinking about trying to brace the inside of this tank body here where the door is going to be with either some right angle or some flat strap or something to, help stiffen the door or the whole face up with this plate. But since this plate has actually ended up bigger than I wanted it to be originally because of the hinges and the latch mechanism, and having to cut that off, I'm actually going to take that one. Once I weld this to the body on the outside, I'll take that other panel and I'm going to weld it to the body on the inside. And that should significantly stiffen up that panel to support the weight of the door. And being that it's actually, once this outer plate for the hinge and everything is mounted, move this out of the way here a little bit, it's actually going to be sitting right against this welds, or these spot welds. So I figure out when I tack this into place, I'll be tacking to this, which is significantly stronger. And that should also help stiffen everything up. So once I get the hole cut out of the middle and the plate mounted, I'll just mount it with some vice grips. I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll move on and get it all welded into place and make it solid. Hey everybody, just got done putting the door in the front of this evaporator arch. Pop the handle. So yeah, I got that all put in. I had mentioned about putting the, just flip it the other way, about putting that other piece on the inside. And I tried to put it in there to see what I could, make sure it would fit the way I wanted it to. And come to find out, you can barely see because it's so dark, the space between the actual latch rod and the wall, there wasn't enough room to put that plate in. So I would have had to cut the plate up more or just leave it with what I had here. So I started, flexing on the body of the stove to see, and it's actually really, really solid the way it is. And the plate that I took off is about the same gauge as the body of this stove arch. So I figured I don't really need that extra ring on the inside as solid as it is. So I just left it out and went with that. So now what I'm going to do is clean up this inside of here some, and I'm going to start working on putting in the fire rack to put the wood on. And we'll see how far I get before the end of the day. All right, everybody. Another little update, and then I'm going to pull the plug so I can go get ready for the work week. So I got all the pieces cut for the actual firebox grate. They're just loosely sitting in there right now. I got to space them. I'm also going to cut, you can see there's a couple bolt holes here. I'm actually going to cut slots on both sides on all of them to allow more air to come through. And I'm actually going to probably weld a little something in between them so that they'll sit, spaced evenly. So when you take them out to clean the base, he can, put them back in and they'll all be spaced evenly again. So got all that dealt with. And then I went ahead and built the flue adapter on the top. I just took a piece of what was left of where I cut some of that out, just formed it, rounded it. I have a piece of 6-inch stovepipe sitting around here somewhere. I'm not sure. Oh, it's right behind me. I just kept, bringing it in tighter and tighter until I got it to fit this real nice. And then, welded the seam up, put it in the top and welded it to the top of the firebox here, or the heat riser. Excuse me. So that's where we're at for now. That's going to do it for this week. And I'm going to go get ready for the work week here. I did pull my door back off so that while I was messing with those angles to put them down in there, I didn't accidentally hit the glass and break it, just to be safe. So I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next weekend.